time because we know why you're here, everybody. We have got a very special guest to kick off the day here on our stage. It's the one and only Vic Mignogna, everybody. Give him a round of applause.
Hey guys, how are you? Wow, that's loud. I won't talk that loud anymore. Hi! I am so happy to be here. Wait, Winry. Sorry, my little full metal nerd happening there. You know what? I'm coming down there. I'm not much of a stage. I'd rather be down here where you are, right? How's everybody doing? Belfast is beautiful, commoner. I am so happy to be here. Several years ago, I did an event in Dublin, and so when they asked me if I wanted to come here, I was like, yes, absolutely. So I'm very, very happy to be here. Very happy. For those of you that maybe got dragged in here, and like your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your friend said, hey, come sit with me at this panel, and you're like, who's this guy? My name is Vic Mignogna. If you see it spelled, don't get scared. It's got a lot of letters in it that you're not supposed to pronounce. It's Italiano, but like lasagna, Bologna, Mignogna. Get it? And I've been voice acting for about 20 years. I'm very old.
Older than you. Before you were born, I was making crazy voices.
And I've done over 300 different animated series and video games. And in addition to animation, if you don't know, you will know soon enough that I am the biggest Star Trek fan you will ever meet. Come on, give it up. Come on, throw it up. You guys, you don't know. You don't know. I love Star Trek. When I was a little boy, it was all about Star Trek. I drove my mother insane with how much I just obsessed over Star Trek. So now, fast forward many decades, and I actually created a web series called Star Trek Continues. And what it does is it picks up where the original series was canceled back in the late 60s. I don't know if you know this, but it was supposed to be a 5-year mission, right? Captain Kirk used to say at the beginning of every show, right? Bees and buds, stars and memory. It's a 5-year mission. Well, they were canceled in their 3rd year. So we thought, wouldn't it be fun to pick it up where they left off and finish the 5-year mission, bring the Enterprise back to Earth, and leave everybody where they were when the motion picture in the late 70s was released. Like 10 years later, a whole bunch of stuff had changed. Captain Kirk wasn't the captain of the ship anymore. Spock had gone back to Vulcan. Dr. McCoy had left the service altogether. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool to like fill in that gap between the original series cancellation and the motion picture? So check it out online. Here's the best part. You ready? It's free. Costs nothing to watch. It is just our love letter to Star Trek. We've put a great deal of effort and love and skill and work into making these episodes that look and feel exactly like the original series. And I'm getting to play I'm having my childhood dream fulfilled of playing Captain Kirk. So check it out online, StarTrekContinues.com. We have 8 episodes already released, free to watch. If you're fans of Doctor Who, maybe, fans of Battlestar Galactica, fans of Star Wars, fans of The Incredible Hulk, fans of Buffy, fans of Farscape, we have guest stars from all these different shows in our show. So check it out online. There are going to be 11 episodes total, and 9, 10, and 11 have already been shot, and they're going to be released this year. And it will be a series finale to one of the most iconic TV series in history. But I want to talk about anything you want to talk about. I've got a table right over here, so you guys come and see me after the autographs, or after the Q&A is over. Come say hello. A lot of you guys wrote me and you asked me if I was going to be bringing any music. I've been writing and producing music twice as long as I've been voice acting. And I have a lot of great music CDs, and I also have, and I have to tell you about this, because if I don't tell you, you won't know, right? So, I have a live concert DVD, And it's a great concert performance, live music from Full Metal Alchemist, Dragon Ball Z, or in high school, The Angel. But there's also something on this concert that I would be remiss not to tell you about. Back when we were recording Full Metal Alchemist, I was having so much fun. I was loving the show so much that I wanted to cosplay. But then, right, Winry? Am I right? But then I thought, how does an extremely tall person like me play an extremely short person like Ed? So I came up with this story whereby a grown man starts turning into an anime character. And then I thought, you know, I don't think I've ever seen any voice actors cosplay as their characters. So we got together one weekend in Houston, Texas, and we shot a live-action parody film called Full Metal Fantasy. It's the voice actors cosplaying as their characters from Full Metal. And it's never been available anywhere. Am I right, Ray? It's never been available anywhere. And Ray and I go way back. And so I decided that when I made this live concert DVD, I was going to put Full Metal Fantasy on the disc. So lots of fun stuff on the concert DVD, music and stuff. So please, I just walked in and came straight here. So as soon as we're done here, I'm heading back over there and I hope you'll come say hello. All right? Anybody have any questions? Let's talk about anything you want to talk about. Yes, sir.
There's a they're doing a live action Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes.
Would you do the English dub if they asked you?
In a heartbeat. Oh my gosh, have you seen the trailer for the Full Metal movie? It looks cool. You know, I hope it's good. You know, sometimes they make movies out of anime and they're not good. In fact, when I say sometimes, I really mean most times, right? They never quite meet up to what you hope they're going to be. And I think Full Metal Alchemist would be such a great live action, especially with special effect technology. What they could do now, they could do the coolest stuff, right? There were some things about it that made me a little nervous. Like, for instance, a very, very big point of Full Metal is that Ed and Al are little boys. That's kind of a very big story point, is that they're young boys thrown into this big, dangerous world, right? Well, when I found out that they cast a 20-year-old pop star to play Ed, I thought, oh, that didn't give me a good feeling. Maybe he'll be great. Maybe he's short. Maybe he only looks 14. But I don't know. But and I know that Alphonse is supposed to be all CGI. Now, it is true that there have been some very good CGI done in movies. But there's always a worry, you know what I mean? That it'll look computer generated. And so that worried me a little bit, but I certainly hope for the best. And if it does get dubbed into English, I will be camping out on somebody's studio doorstep waiting to play Ed again, because I love Full Metal. Question? Anybody? Yes?
Hi, of course.
Oh, it does work, does it? What's your name?
Mark.
Oh, Mark, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. You were just discussing about how anime often struggles to get adapted into live action. If you could give any sort of hints as to what is needed, what do you think they would be? Personally, I believe understanding what makes it work in the core value.
Absolutely. In fact, not to turn every conversation back to Star Trek, but you need to know what made Star Trek so good. Star Trek isn't sci-fi. I mean, sure, it's in space, but the reason we're still talking about Star Trek 50 years later is because of the values and the stories and the thought-provoking ideals and the amazing ethical questions and moral dilemmas that were broached in amazing stories. It wasn't the ships. It wasn't phasers. You know what I mean? It wasn't fighting the It was story-based. And you could make Star Trek forever, but if you don't understand what made Star Trek so endearing, you're not going to make very good Star Trek. Same with anime. And you hit it on the head, Mark. You are so right. You have to know what made the anime compelling. What is it that grabbed you about it? And try to be able to translate that into live action. You know what? Here's what happens. Sadly, what happens, and you guys have seen this 1,000 times. Even if it's a book adaptation, what about like a Harry Potter or a Lord of the Rings, right? These very, very popular literary pieces or amazing stories that people have known for years, and then they're finally made into movies. The danger is that when a movie company gets a hold of a property, a lot of times decisions are made by lawyers and marketing people, not creatives, but people that are thinking, how can we sell the most amount of tickets? Well, we need a lot of action. We need girls with no clothes on. We need, you know what I'm talking about, right? They have these things that they think are going to draw certain types of people. Well, we want to get more young guys, so let's put some young hot girls in it. And we want to get more this kind of viewers, so let's put more of this in it. More violence, more sex, more whatever, right? And suddenly, what happened to the story? What happened to the original idea? It is now somehow lost, or at very least shrouded heavily in all of this other junk that they threw in the mix for marketing to try to sell more tickets. And here's the funny thing is, they may sell tickets, but you won't like the movie, right? They'll get your $20, but you won't like it. So they got the money, but it wasn't well received. And the buzz about it. You know how sometimes you see movies come out, and the first weekend they like have a huge turnout, right? And then the second weekend nobody goes. That's because the word of mouth, all those people went to see it, they didn't like it, they told everybody it wasn't any good. So that's the challenge, is knowing, you're exactly right, Mark, knowing what made something so special and being able to preserve it. Did anyone see the Ghost in the Shell movie? Was it good? See, I didn't see it. I heard a lot about it, I read a lot about it. You want something like that to be good. Did anybody see the Death Note movie? The live action Death Note? What'd you think? I watched it on the airplane. It's okay. But if an anime is good, or a book is good, you'd like to believe that it could be adapted and preserve what it was that made that book so good, or that anime so good. But it's not easy. Because the people that want to sell a lot of tickets and make a lot of money, they have their own agenda. And it doesn't always involve preserving the story. Question? Yes, sir.
Whenever you do multiple characters.
Oh, thank you.
That was brilliant.
I think it works.
Sorry? Oh,
It's not working.
Almost on point. Almost on point.
Whenever you do multiple characters,
Within like a single anime, do you have a process like in Naruto where you sit and you go, I don't want to sound the same?
oh, that's a great question. He said, whenever you do multiple characters in an anime, do you have a particular process? Yes. The process is you record all of one character first. Get him out of the way. I did a show called Vampire Night. Anybody know Vampire Night? So what's funny about Vampire Night is when they called me and told me that I was going to be playing this character, they left me a voicemail. And the voicemail said, congratulations, Vic, you're going to be playing Zero and Ichiru. And my first reaction was, woohoo! I'm playing Zero! Who's Ichiru? I didn't even know who that was. I didn't know that Zero had a twin brother. But when we went in to record the show, the brothers sound the same because they're twins, but their attitude is different. So rather than trying to jump back and forth when they're having conversations, you go through and record all of Zero first. And then you go back to the top, kind of get yourself in a different mind space, different character, and then you record all of each of them. And it's kind of fun because you can hear the recorded Zero, so you're actually talking to yourself and answering and reacting to yourself. But that's usually what they'll do, is they'll kick all one character out first, so that you can get a different mindset, different attitude before you take on the next character. Question? Yes, my dear. Come here. Come close, poor person. Oh, come here. What's your question? Are you America? From Italia? I love it. I'm Greece. I am the cat lover from Greece. My favorite line is Tamaki Suo. You know, every line Tamaki says is brilliant. Not me, Tamaki. I love that character so much. And I think probably some of my favorite lines are the ones that you guys have told me are a lot of your favorites. I'm often asked to do the coffee line. That's kind of become a favorite, if I had to be honest. For those of you that are like, what is he even talking about? Oran High School Host Club is about a bunch of rich kids at a school, very rich private school. And they're so rich that they would never lower themselves to drink something like instant coffee. But one day, somebody brings some instant coffee to the host club. And Tamaki, the host club king, wants to try it. And one of the girls, one of the little rich girls, is like, I don't know if I should drink this. My father might get mad at me. And of course, in classic Tamaki style, Tamaki says, but what if I let you drink it from my mouth? And the girl's like, then I would drink it. It's so funny. I love Tamaki so much. And I love all of the first episode stuff. Oftentimes in an anime, some of the best lines a character will say are in the first episode, because that's where they establish the character. In the first episode is where they want to introduce you to this character, and this is what he's like. So he'll have all of these great lines like, you know, you're a hero to poor people, long live the poor, you know, like this whole attitude of what he's like in all of the characters. A lot of the funniest lines happen in the first episode. So they let the audience know right out of the gate, this is what this character is like. Question? Yes, sir. It's Persona, yeah. Difference between anime and video game. Well, a couple of the main differences are, a video game you will record over the course of just a few days, and then it's done. Whereas an anime series could go on, you know, if you think of something like One Piece or Dragon Ball, right? They go on for years and years and years. There are people that are still recording. You know, One Piece. In fact, I just got cast. Any One Piece fans? I'm going to be playing a character named Sabo in One Piece, and they told me I'm playing him, but to just be patient, because he shows up in like episode 600 something or other. So anime series can go on for a very long time, whereas video games, you'll kick them out in a few days. Number one. Number two, when you record a video game, you have to record all of the possible scenarios of a video game. So if you get cast as a character, and if the player makes certain choices, the character dies, you got to record all of it. And if the character wins and continues on, you have to record all that. So you have to record all the different possibilities that could happen in the game, which is not the case with an anime. You record what happens in the anime, that's it. The third thing is that video games are very much playing the game, right? It's mostly about playing the game. There are little cut scenes and there are little dramatic scenes and stuff, but the majority of a video game is playing the game, right? Is that fair to say? Which means that most of the sounds are the in-game sounds. The grunts, the swinging the sword, getting hit in the gut, the falling off the wall, the kicking somebody, getting kicked by somebody, a big death, a small death, 1,000 different types of sounds. And you don't just make one punch sound, right? Can you imagine how annoying that would be playing a video game and every time your character hits something it sounds exactly the same? So they record dozens of variations of every different thing. And then the programmers will use all different ones. That's another very big difference with video games, is that you record a lot of those in-game fighting sounds. Those are three that I can think of. Question? Anybody? Hi! What's your question?
If you had to play as any other character in Italia, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Is this a trick question? Do you remember what nationality I told you I was? I would love to have played Italy. Pasta! I would love to have played. I almost got to play Italy, but I would love. There were two reasons that I wanted to play Italy. One, because I'm Italian, and I'm proud to be Italian. I even have a song on one of my CDs called Italian Boys. And my grandma my Italian grandmother from Italy, I recorded her talking to me and I put it in the song. Like she's actually in the song talking to me. But that, and also, in the original Japanese Italia, the actor that played Italy was named Daisuke, I can't remember his last name, but he also played a character named Phi in a show called Tsubasa Chronicle, and I played Phi. So I thought, wouldn't it be neat to play this character that I played with this same voice actor? But Greece it is. You never know what you're going to get. Question? Anybody? Yes.
Out of all the characters that you've voiced, is there any that you particularly thought challenging to portray correctly?
If anybody has seen any interviews that I've done, you know that Broly in Dragon Ball Z was particularly challenging, and not because of his deep, dramatic thoughts, not because of his soft heart and his emotional moments, but just because he screams all the time. And he doesn't scream like Ed screams. He has this very low, guttural, mean, angry voice, which is really fun, but it hurts a lot. And so even though I loved playing the role, it really took its toll on my throat, playing that character. So usually I tell people that he was the hardest one. Although, I played a character in Digimon, played a few characters, but I played this one character named Mad Leomon, and he was this giant Mayan robot. And he was even worse than Broly. Like, he was even more of a throat ripper than Broly was. But I really enjoy the dramatic characters. Like when Ed gets really emotional in Full Metal, I love that. Even Tamaki, you know. But the vocally challenging ones are the hardest ones for me. Question? Yes. Hello there, what's your name? James. Hello, James. Everyone say hello to James. Welcome.
Well, I'm a big fan of the show Soul Eater that you play Spirit Elmore. Was he
something happened with Soul Eater that always seems to happen for me. I'll try out for a certain character, and I won't get that character, and I will initially be disappointed, right? Which you would expect, right? You try for something, you don't get it, you're disappointed. But what always happens is, the character that I do end up getting is even more fun than the character that I wanted to play. I auditioned for several roles in Soul Eater, and I didn't get any of them, but then I got cast as Spirit. And when I went in to record Spirit, I had so much fun. He was so fun, and crazy, and sad. Such a pathetic guy. I feel bad for him. But I really, really enjoyed it. And I realized that this has happened to me a lot. I would audition for, like, anyone here ever seen a show called Full Metal Panic? I played this character named Kurt Weber. Well, I wanted to play Sosuke Sager, or this guy, or that guy, and I didn't get any of those, but I got to play Kurt. And I was initially bummed out, but then I get into the recording studio and find out that Kurt Weber is a lot more fun and has a lot more personality. So I ended up enjoying it even more than I would have otherwise. So that happens a lot. That's what happened with him too. Let's take one more question. Okay, because your cosplay rules, what is your question, my friend? Two questions. If they made a dub of the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood game for PS4, would I do it? In a heartbeat. In fact, don't tell Funimation, I would probably do it for free. I mean, you know what? I gotta tell you guys something. I'm gonna use this minute to tell you something. I love what I do. Did you get that impression? I feel very, very blessed. You know what I mean by that? I feel very blessed to get to do what I do. I've been acting since I was very young, but I never thought about voice acting at all. And when I was given an opportunity to do it, I tried it, and never knew where it would go, never imagined that anything would ever come of it. And now 20 years later, and 300 different things later, I consider myself one of the most blessed, fortunate people, because I get to do something that I really love. Does it pay a ton of money? Ask me. No. No, it doesn't. But you know what? I wouldn't trade it for anything. I would much rather make a modest amount of money that I can pay my bills with, right? Doing something that I love to do, than to be paid a ton of money doing something I hate. And begrudgingly go to work every day, right? I hate my job, I hate my life. Yeah, give me all the money. I hate my job. How much fun would that be, right? After a while, the money wouldn't make much difference. Because you wouldn't have any happiness in your life. So, I'm very grateful for what I get to do. I would do it for almost nothing, because I love it so much. It's like all of you, you have something in your lives that you love to do. Nobody has to pay you to do it, right? You just do it because you enjoy it. How many of you guys draw? Look around the room, look at all the hands. Okay, now put your hands down. How many of you only draw when somebody pays you? Look around the room. Right? You see my point? You draw because you love it. You draw because you have to. And the things that I like, acting, singing, whatever, I've been doing my whole life because I love them. Not because I was paid for them or because it would make me famous or rich or anything. It was because I had to. And all of us have something like that. I would wish the same for you. You find ways to do things that you love to do, make a little bit of money. It doesn't need to be a lot. And it doesn't need to be a creative thing either. You know, it doesn't have to be dancing or singing or writing or drawing. It's something that gives you joy. Maybe it's rebuilding an engine. Right? Maybe it's landscaping. It could be anything. I would hope that for you. I've been very, very blessed. And I'm very grateful. Not the least of which is getting to come to beautiful places like this and meet wonderful new people. So, I'm very, very grateful. And it never ends. The gratitude is just, I'm so grateful. You guys, I'm heading back to my table. I'll be here all day. And I hope you'll come and say hello. All right? Thank you guys.